Good Thursday morning. This is Larry Sprinkle along with Chris Mulcahy. And, well, here we go again. It seemed like about a week ago, 1 week ago today, we were talking about an impending winter storm system. And here we go. This one is certainly headed our way, although it's kind of just a rainy day today. That's what we see today, rainy and upper 40s.
Yeah, we want to also make the point that for the Charlotte area, this system is nothing like what we just saw, but this is still a big deal for the Carolinas. And if you are new to the Carolinas, you're probably wondering, wait, this happens? Because it really hasn't happened for the better part of 3 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those. I would have to say it's an exception to the rule as
Mm-hmm.
far as the Charlotte area to have, especially two storm systems 1 week after another, like we've had. So two in a row right here. So let's talk about the warnings out there. That's something we do want to show you right there. And Chris, we can talk about it. It's a pretty extensive area that we're talking about.
Yeah, and the reason why we're not seeing this for the Carolina mountains is because the placement of this low, since it's going to be gliding right along the coast, even offshore, that means the colder air that's on the upper north and northwest side, that's what's changing all the rain over to snow, to ice. That's why you have ice storm warnings for areas close to the coast. It's in the area of pink that you typically see, and then winter weather advisories for the rest. Charlotte luckily looks to be just outside of that. And Larry, that's all because of a big shift that we saw with the storm system.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. This is going to be, in this case, a coastal storm, which does happen. Most of those seem to happen when in hurricane season, but this one is happening in the wintertime. So, some of the issues would be the potential for ice, and that could be a major, major problem for people in the eastern part of the state, particularly over there towards, I would say, Wilmington, all the way down to Myrtle Beach, where they're going to see potential for an ice storm. I was at East Carolina for a number of years in college, and we had several ice storms over there. That's something that they see more. It's called the coastal plain,
Yeah.
Greenville, Princeton, that area, than they do the big snowstorms. Although they could actually get some snow right there.
Yeah, and that ice, anytime you're talking about a quarter inch, that's where it kind of gets pretty treacherous to drive around. So that's our biggest issue. I would take snow and sleet any day, even though technically snow and sleet are still ice. They can be compacted. Whenever you're coating things with just a layer of ice, that's really tough to drive. So we have that potential here in the Carolinas. So luckily, that is nowhere near our forecast. And Larry, we're actually going to be cold enough just to get all snow, which is easier forecast and just a better situation for us at least.
Without a doubt. And that snow, really, if you take a line and draw it along Interstate 77 and then south of there and southeast of that's really where most of this in our area is going to be. And we could certainly get in the Charlotte area. We could get some snow here enough to, coat the roads anywhere from maybe a trace to about an inch here in the Charlotte area. But if you take Highway 74 and go east, you can almost just measure the amounts going up steadily all the way to the Carolina coastline. That's really from tomorrow into early Saturday morning, subject to change.
Yeah.
It's all based on timing of that area of low pressure. Timing and temperature very important in the process.
And the craziness is those purples that you were seeing near the coast, those were touching our counties. They were just on the edge of Stanley, Rowan County, showing that this thing shifted by about, I would say, almost 30 to 50 miles. And that's all it does. Whenever this happens, you can see how we are completely engulfed in the snow. But since it had that shift, well offshore, that's the reason why we're seeing such a change. And that's why we're always giving you updates, because 1 degree change in direction thousands of miles away will result in something like this that you're seeing here.
And once again, this is much like we saw a week ago. It's a developing storm system. And where does that area of low pressure end up over the upcoming weekend, especially Friday and Saturday? All subject to Mother Nature. We have no control over it. These are all computer models that we use indicating the potential for any of these situations, these scenarios to happen. So, yeah, like Chris was saying, we're going to be here. It's 24/7 to let you know what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say that at least we're not repeating what just happened, because yes, this happens, but mentally, I'm not sure if we will really be ready for exactly what we just saw on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I want us all to be prepared, because since we have now seen our second low pressure system doing this, we are heading into this type of pattern. And we were signaling this a few months ago that sometimes once the low pressure systems are churning down from the Gulf, moving past the mid-Atlantic states, that's a perfect setup for nor'easters to form. So at least over the next couple of weeks, I would even say next week, there will be another chance that another low pressure could swing through. But snow forecasting is so precise that the change by 10 to 20 miles could be the change from snow to sleet to freezing rain to or just rain. But in this case, a lot less snow, where our totals came way down from our first preliminary totals that we put out yesterday.
Yeah, pretty maddening when you think about it. And yeah, well, look at a few miles next week could be middle of next week. But let's talk about this one right here. Now, this is a coastal storm. So along the Carolina coastline, it's going to be the old-fashioned nor'easter shaping up there out there with some very, very high winds, especially in those coastal communities. You could talk about it. It would be like a tropical storm in the middle of winter with some of those high winds, Chris.
Yeah, this is treacherous conditions. Whenever you have snow in general, it's tough to see in front of you. These would be the definitions of whiteout conditions for a place that you don't usually forecast for, the Outer Banks. So things are setting up through there, and that little white spot, that pinkish color, that would be representing gusts up to about 60 miles per hour, and that's not good to be in general. That's usually around severe thunderstorm strength. That could be gusting periodically with snow, just to show the magnitude of the system. So yes, it's better for the Charlotte area, but as the Carolinas for a whole, this is still a very big deal.
And once again, as we said, this is a developing weather system. We'll be here and more coming up at 11:30 this morning throughout the day and all day tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow morning. So stay safe and have a great day. And remember, it's rain today, maybe some snow tomorrow. See you later.